I know nothing more than your typical football fan about offensive line play. And you love play in the trenches, more so on the defensive side. Those are your roots, but still you can
Mhm.
appreciate and know how important it is to have an offensive line that dominates. But I will tell you, I checked out Francis Mauigoa's huddle tape, and I just saw him like take guys with one arm and throw them to the side, and I just saw him like engulf people, just mash them to the ground. And it doesn't take a football expert to know, okay, that's good. That'll work. That'll open a lane up.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many ways we can get really technical about it. We could break down, hook step blocks and zone blocks and things of that nature and gap blocking, man blocking. But when you talk about somebody that has the size and the man strength to move other grown men against their will, then that's what you have in order to be an elite program. In order to man the line of scrimmage, whether that be in pass protection or in the run game, you need the size and you need people who can move people. And you need people who can move folks that are just as big as them, if not bigger. Okay, when you look at Francis, man, we talked about it, Mark. We talked about a complete transformation on this roster. And that we went from being second or third in the Coastal, sometimes fourth and fifth in the ACC, third in the ACC. We went from being able a team that when you looked at us on paper, you looked at that as being our medium or our height. We may not be in the ACC championship game, but we can be in competition for it. We can fight for it. But when you talk about having the absolute best roster and funneling 5 star after 5 star after 5 star and 4 stars, not only are we going to do that, they're going to positions where they're going to be developed amongst some of the best at their position. Offensive line. Coach Mario Cristobal at the time was thought of as the best offensive line coach. Now, did he have Alabama talent? Absolutely. But he was thought of as one of the best recruiters and the best developers at offensive line at Alabama. He goes over to Oregon and continues the tradition and puts a bunch of guys in the second and third round, and then boom, gets his year three, gets his first round offensive tackle, a top 10 pick. So I was elated, Mark, elated because not only does this talk about on the football field, this talks about off the football field. Okay, when Marigoa picked Miami, he spent about 2 minutes speaking in his native tongue of Samoan. And as he's talking in his native tongue, he flips it and now speaks in English after saying everything he said in Samoan in English. And he talked about the biggest difference was that it wasn't a font, it wasn't a front, it wasn't someone being disingenuous. It was people being genuine with him and embracing his culture and embracing who he is and who he and how he plays, how he worships, and bringing that mixed with developing him as a football player also. And it was everything he was looking for he could get at Miami. He talked about all these other places, where yeah, they magically pretend like there's palm trees. Ain't no palm trees in Gainesville, sir. I'm sorry. There's no beaches in Gainesville. Okay. Yeah, they are some at
None?
USC.
They're on the
They're
water. You can't find a beach in Gainesville. Yeah.
in Gainesville.
I'm thinking Jacksonville. Okay. Gainesville.
That now it's some beautiful scenery in USC, but I think they were late to the party as far as building a relationship with him.
Sure.
And our defensive line coach happens to also be his uncle. So I mean, it was a perfect marriage. And this speaks just volumes. Because what it showed me, Mark, is for the first time since I've been doing this, these elite players didn't have to, or player, I'll speak about one in particular in Francis. One particular player didn't say, oh, I want to wait and see what Miami's going to do on the football field. They were able to invest and go in and say, I want to be a part of this without even seeing this staff or Coach Mario Cristobal coach a game yet. That's always been the argument that the elite talent has said. We're going to wait to see if Miami's going to Miami this thing. We're going to wait to see if Miami's going to end up losing to Virginia on a stupid Thursday night. I'm going to wait to see if Miami shows up and loses to FIU. Instead, this premier prospect that could have gone anywhere in the country decided, you know what, I'm in. And not only that, you have, Rashada, who was before him, a week before him, and bringing in a marquee quarterback. I talked about that. Bringing in a marquee quarterback, a top 10 player at this position, this early in the process, he can do the recruiting for you. Not only, these great players want to play with other great players. They don't want to go and try to be Duke Johnson, where you're a high 4-star, almost borderline 5-star, and 5-star in some places, but 4-star according to ESPN. And your entire career, you're out there giving all you have to go 7-5, 9-3, 6-7. They don't want to have to go through that anymore. And I'm just, I'm excited, man. I think he is, to be honest with you, Mark, in combination with another offensive lineman who I think Miami will get their hands on later in the latter half of this same month in July. I think Miami is going to get their right side of the offensive line handled.